David and Ethan had been best friends since they were kids. Growing up in the same neighborhood, going to the same school, and being in the same class, they were inseparable. They shared everything, from lunchboxes to secrets, but one thing set them apart: their approach to the future. David, a determined and focused teenager, had always been clear about what he wanted to do in life. He dreamed of becoming a software engineer, and even at a young age, he was determined to make it happen. While their classmates spent their weekends playing video games or hanging out aimlessly, David had a different routine. He would spend hours exploring online courses on software development, watching educational videos on YouTube, and following professionals in his desired field on social media platforms like LinkedIn. He was soaking up every bit of information he could find. His desk was cluttered with books, printouts, and notebooks filled with coding exercises and ideas for future projects. Ethan, on the other hand, couldn't understand David's obsession. He'd often laugh and say, "Why are you wasting your time, David? We're still kids. There's no need to think about all that now. Just enjoy life." Ethan preferred to use social media to watch funny videos, play games, and follow trends. To him, life was about living in the moment. He saw David's ambition as unnecessary stress. One evening, as they sat on the rooftop of David's house, enjoying the sunset, Ethan turned to his friend. "David, seriously, you're always on that laptop or reading some boring stuff. Why don't you relax a bit? You're just a kid, after all." David smiled, closing his laptop. "I'm not just doing it for now, Ethan. I have a plan. I want to be ready for the future. Every minute I spend learning something new is like investing in my dreams." Ethan shook his head. "You're overthinking it. Live a little, man. When the time comes, I'm sure we'll figure it out." Their high school years continued like this. While Ethan spent his free time scrolling through memes, watching prank videos, and playing online games, David was diving deeper into his studies. He used social media for learning, joining groups and forums dedicated to software development and technology. He connected with professionals, asked questions, and even started small projects based on what he learned online. Ethan would often mock him, saying, "You're turning into a nerd, David. You know that, right? Social media is for fun, not for this boring stuff." David would chuckle. "Maybe, but I'd rather use it to build my future." Years passed and graduation day arrived. David graduated with honors, his eyes already set on entering one of the top engineering colleges. Ethan, however, stood uncertain. Without a clear goal, he had chosen a general studies path, believing he'd figure it out as he went. But now, as he watched David walk across the stage with purpose, a pang of doubt crept into his mind. David graduated at the top of his class and immediately landed a high-paying job at one of the top tech companies in the United States. His years of hard work and strategic use of social media as a learning tool had paid off. He moved to a bustling city, his life set on a successful trajectory. Meanwhile, Ethan was still stuck in college, struggling to finish his degree. He realized that without a plan, his life had become a series of random decisions leading nowhere. One evening, after yet another failed exam, Ethan decided to call David. "Hey David, I'm sorry I never took you seriously back then. You were right. I should have planned better. Now I feel lost." David, always the supportive friend, replied, "It's never too late, Ethan. The important thing is realizing it now. Start making a plan, decide what you want, and work toward it." Inspired by David's words, Ethan decided to change his approach. He began using social media differently, joining groups related to his interests, following professionals, and learning from educational videos. He slowly regained interest in his studies and started working harder. 3 years after David had graduated, Ethan finally finished his degree. However, his grades were far from impressive, and he struggled to find a job. He eventually took a position at a small, unknown company with a modest salary. It wasn't what he had hoped for, but it was a start. He knew he had to build himself up from the bottom. David, now thriving in his career, never forgot his friend. He often checked in on Ethan, offering advice and encouragement. Remember, Ethan, every small step forward counts. Don't be discouraged by where you start. Ethan took David's words to heart. He worked diligently, taking every opportunity to learn and grow. He even started attending night classes to improve his skills and knowledge. Over time, Ethan's hard work began to pay off. He started getting noticed for his dedication and willingness to learn. His small company began to offer him more responsibilities, and with them, a better salary. He realized that even though he had started late, determination and the right mindset could still change his future. One day, Ethan visited David in the city. They sat down in a cafe, reminiscing about their childhood. You know, Ethan said, "I used to think you were wasting your time back then. Now I see how wrong I was. I wish I'd listened to you sooner." David smiled. "It's never about who starts first, Ethan. It's about who stays committed to the path. I'm proud of how far you've come." Ethan nodded, a sense of relief and satisfaction washing over him. He had finally learned the importance of having a clear goal, using resources wisely, and being patient with oneself. He might not have reached where he wanted to be yet, but he was on the right path. The story of David and Ethan teaches us that using tools like social media wisely and setting a goal early can shape one's future. It emphasizes that it's never too late to change, but starting early and staying focused can pave the way to success. As Ethan learned, even if you start late, determination and the right mindset can still lead to personal growth and achievement.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more fun songs as well as interesting and enjoyable stories.